Welcome back to Terra by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, George Santos. It's that time. Time we've all been waiting for. The latest George Santos update. Okay, so news. George Santos's campaign fundraiser. What's his last name? It's Millet is his last name. Samuel Millet. Basically pleaded guilty to wired fraud today. And he faces up to 20 years imprisonment. He won't get 20 years, but that's the max sentence if you're a repeat offender and all sorts of things happened. He has to make a restitution of $110,000. He has to surrender about $70,000 in cash and prizes, I guess. And he has to make a $470,000 payment to a political contributor. I'm assuming that's who he defrauded. He also admitted to access device fraud, which is basically taking the credit cards that they collected and charging things on it. This is the guy that was basically saying, I think he was saying he was Kevin McCarthy's campaign manager. They misrepresented it, and they were raising funds for Santos. So that's his treasurer and a fundraiser have both pled guilty to charges, and they're facing years behind bars because of it. Now, no later than the 17th, this Friday, is when the Ethics Committee is supposed to have their George Santos report. Remember that right before they, or right after they did the votes, or they're ready to do the budget votes, the committee was supposed to rule on Santos, and they kicked the can down to the 17th, which would have been after the budget was supposed to be out of the House and into the Senate. Well, that is now what's happened. The budget is now out of the House. It's to the Senate, and likely it'll get approved in the Senate, and then Biden has indicated that if the Senate signs it, he'll sign it, and they'll be done. And now, but the problem is, it's another stopgap budget. If this was the budget for the year, come Friday, Santos would probably be bye-bye. Now the Ethics Committee, they're put in an awkward position because they can't just conveniently dump Santos because you've got another budget vote coming in January. That being said, the last two temporary budgets have required bipartisan support. And if we read the tea leaves, the Freedom Caucus is really upset that the budget got pushed off. They're upset that none of their budget cuts got enacted. So it's not likely that come January, February, they're going to be super supportive of the final budget that goes through. There'll be all sorts of posturing and BS like that. But in the end of the day, they can't get it through with the people that they have. And if you have Santos there or not, you still need the Democrats. And it passed, this stopgap measure passed with 200 Democrats supporting it. So they've got well over 300 people supporting it, at least as a temporary measure, which means that Santos's vote isn't that important on the grand scheme of things. Entertainment purposes only. What's the House Ethics Committee going to do with Santos by the end of the week? Are they going to kick the can until February of next year, March of next year, or are they actually going to rule? They are going to rule, and it's going to be pretty cut and dry what the ruling is. This is not a great card for George Santos to be sitting here. This is literally that strict mom that's going to say, you did this and this and this and this and this. The following thing is not going to be, oh, you can have all the toys you want for Christmas. It's going to be, you're grounded. Or move out, whatever. However that works. What's the challenge here? The devil. Santos did this to himself. His lies, his cheating, his stealing, his unethical behavior, misrepresentations, everything. This is a perfect card to do with Santos. And here's his campaign treasurer and his fundraiser, both willingly changed to the fraud that was George Santos. So the Ethics Committee is now going to do what they need to do, and they're going to take strong action. I think this is going to be more than censuring him. They might give the recommendation that he's removed. I don't know what the ethics committee will actually do, but I do know, in looking at articles today, that members of both sides of the House are quite eager to bring a resolution to the floor to expel him from Congress. It requires a 2/3 majority, and assuming all the Democrats are on board, it takes like 75% of the Republicans to remove this guy. I wonder if 75% of the Republicans have enough spine to do it. Some will. This should just be so easy. This should be something that should be unanimous, right? I mean, all the crime. He's got 32 felony counts against him. 30, yeah. In the past, it's the nightmare scenario for the ethics committee. This guy just commits crime after crime after crime. You know, he was already indicted on like a dozen charges, and then they brought a superseding indictment to add another 20 or so to the previous charges. This guy's just a mess. I mean, if they were looking for a way to keep him, they just can't find it, and they can't justify it. It's, you know, the ethics committee would need an ethics committee to investigate them if they didn't do something strong about this guy, because this is about as simple as it gets. It really, truly is. King of Wands, it's time to pick up your beat down stick, put on your big boy pants, and start acting like your ethics committee is actually going to do something. I'll be curious to see what that is. Now, when I did read on this months and months ago, like in June, I think, I saw the ethics committee actually doing something. I thought it was going to the ethics committee just to get buried. But I saw them doing something, and it looks like they're going to be doing something. Queen of Swords, King of Wands. Oh, the betrayal. Now, is this Santos feeling betrayed by the ethics committee? Very possibly. Is this the ethics committee feeling betrayed by Santos's lies and misrepresentations? Probably. Are these the people that got ripped off by Santos? Whether it's, you know, big Republican donors, and that's the real reason why this is even here, or even is it just the ex-vet that Santos was supposed to raise money to help him get surgery for his dog, and then Santos pocketed the cash? You know, the guy's crappy behavior is everywhere, and he's the ultimate in disappointment in humanity. He causes people to lose faith in humanity. So it's up to the ethics committee to actually try and restore that faith in humanity and bring some justice. You've got the Queen of Swords, you've got the Justice card right here in the lesson to be learned. It's time for justice. Justice is here. No more political games. No more partisan politics. Do the deed that you need to do. Out comes the Page of Swords. Given that the Queen of Swords was the foundation, I don't know what card I wanted to see here. I don't know if this is it. This could be them cutting him loose. This just could be like, get out, you know, take your sword and leave. We don't want you here. I'd hate to think that the ethics committee is going to do something to water it down. But I swear to God, every time I get my hopes up that a Republican committee somewhere is going to do something morally and ethically responsible, I am just disappointed time and time again. That being said, underneath it, we do have the Ace of Clubs. I see some strong action coming forward here, and I think this will probably be more than a recommendation for censure. I think this is going to be cutting him loose. I really do think that that's going to happen. He's got too many enemies in Congress. You can't have that many people pissed off at you. McCarthy kept him around because he needed the vote. MAGA Mike, you know, and then you got the House Speaker here, you know, MAGA Mike, you know, Mr. Christian fundamentalist, And then you got George the Liar Santos, the trans diva queen there. You couldn't find two people probably more polar opposite than these two clowns. I just, honestly, in the end of the day, I just don't think, other than the fact that he provided a fifth person in the majority, they can't agree with a 5-man majority. Having a 4-man majority really won't matter. That being said, knock me over with a feather if they put off the decision for another few months. I think folks in the House might be upset if they do that. Okay. What do I want to ask? Okay, so for Carter, how do I want to ask? I want to ask if Santos is going to be, but before he leaves, there obviously is going to be a vote, and you have to bring it to the floor. Will there be? But it's like, you want to ask, is there going to be a vote to bring Santos to be expelled from Congress? And will that vote pass? So I guess that's the question. Will Santos be expelled from Congress through the Ethics Committee and subsequent voting to expel him? Let's say by the end of the year, because then that way, if they kick the can down to February, I've got my butt covered here. Not that I need to cover it. Will he be expelled? Fighting with advantage. There's going to be actions taken to do it, and they've got a good chance of succeeding. It's the money. He stole money from the wrong people. And it's also evaluating, can we get the things done with one less person on our side? Okay, so it will happen quickly. So I'm guessing that the Ethics Committee will make their thing, and then we'll probably have a short week next week because, it's Thanksgiving. So that's going to take us into December. I can't picture a scenario where he resigns. I just can't. But I wonder if that'll happen. I'll have to ask that. Page of Cups, MAGA, craziness, weirdos. Yeah, it's in strength. I tell you, sometimes with the Republicans, finding morals and ethics with them, but finding them with a backbone too. Maybe, just maybe, the Republicans will find enough strength to do the right thing to get this guy out of there. I'm going to make that a very tepid response. If this were the Democrats in charge, that would be a different matter altogether. But it's not. If the Republicans had a 30-seat majority, we never even would have had this conversation. That guy would have been so long gone. Okay, what else do I want to ask? I was going to ask if will Santos resign? I know he won't. That's my intellectual part. But let's find out. Will Santos resign? Focus. Focus, David. Focus. Don't let your computer close. He feels trapped. He might be forced to resign. It's kind of like a damned if I do, damned if I don't. But he might be forced to resign because he has no other choice. They tell him he needs to resign. And maybe if they tell him he needs to resign, I don't know what they can offer him to compel him to resign. But I think he's feeling trapped. There's your Page of Swords. Okay, so this is the outcome. He's feeling trapped with that outcome. They're going to ask him to resign. You know what this might be? This might be resign or we will vote and humiliate you. They're going to tell him we have the votes to remove you. One of two things can happen. You can resign and go out on your own terms, or we will vote you out and you'll leave in humility. And he's trapped. That's what's going to happen. Oh, there's going to be a lot. I don't think this is the people fighting to keep him. This is almost like them fighting to be the first one to get the shot at him. There's going to be so many people going in front of the microphones saying how, they really pushed to get rid of this guy. He's just, yeah. It's going to be a little bit crazy. The fighting that's going on and such. This could also be just George Santos's life in a nutshell. He's a chaos agent. In the end of the day, the Republicans, they want him out. They want their happy family, their happy Congress back. It's time for Santos to go spend time with his family. And hooray! We got rid of the crook. We got rid of the only crook in Congress. Yay! I'm sorry, I still haven't hit you with the Queen of Pentacles. It's holding on to things that are valued, finding practicality. There's no practicality in keeping him around. The Republicans cannot force their agenda because they fight too much. So what's left? Cut bait and fish on. This guy, go on your own terms or we'll kick you out. One or the other. Which, of course, is going to lead to... And Santos is he's stuck. So now, just because I can't leave a good thing alone, let's find out. We'll call this a 20-minute video. Let's find out if Santos will resign. Will he flat out resign? I'll do a challenge on. How about that? And then we'll call it. We'll have resign on one side. We'll have voted out on the other. Does he walk on his own terms? Does he leave because he's kicked out? He's been victimized. It's a witch hunt. This is what... he's Donald Trump, It's the same thing. It's the same playbook. The same narcissistic little boy who's just horrid to people. Okay. I hope I get the Eight of Wands again. Here's the central card in the challenge. The agreements... Okay, so him resigning. Queen of Wands. This could be Miss Stefanik. At least Stefanik is the one who has to tell him he has to go. We got the Four, the Chariot, and the King of Swords. Yeah, so if he resigns, it's because he's told he's got to go. That this is inevitable. There's no way we can protect you on this one. And he's going to be reminded, you took money from people that money didn't belong to you. You lied about everything. Nobody likes you. There's no way to protect you. And, if you stick around longer, there's going to be more things that find... Here's where it is. Right here. Your Jack Smith type card. If you stick around... They are going to keep digging and they're going to find more and more things that you did wrong. This is your cut bait and fish on type thing. Maybe we can make an agreement with the feds to get some charges dropped if you resign. That's kind of what they're going to tell him to get him to resign. Now, for Mr. Santos, if he decides he's going to fight the good fight and not resign and put it to a vote, what's going to happen? Oh, are they going to take it to a vote? Yeah, they're going to take it to a vote big time. And it's going to be one of those great votes. It's going to be a burden and victory and Two of Wands getting in, replacing him. Oh, good Lord. Underneath it all is the Devil card. It's the agreements you made and the lies that you told. The people that you hurt in the process. If he stays to fight... I think maybe he thinks if he fights, he's going to win. But there's no chance. What this is that if he stays, there's going to be a big push to remove him. And that push to remove him is going to be successful. And they're already going to be looking for his replacement. They may not replace the position. They might just leave that an open seat until the 2024 election, which is just around the corner. It's going to make things harder for the Republicans in Congress because they're down one person, but this guy's not worth it. It's not worth it. Do I see anything that means he will stay? This could be if he fights, he's victorious and he's not removed. Let me pull a clarifier. Is this going to be him? Is this him leaving or staying? Leaving is this card. Staying is this card. Oh, we had this we had the fights underneath there. If he stays and fights it, he might be able to survive it. Because it's 5, they've got the 5 votes. If he leaves, they have to keep their emotions in check. Okay. So when they go to vote, if he fights this in Congress, it's going to go to a vote, and it's going to depend if you let the extremists run rampant, destroying everything, or if people are calm and mature. If they're calm and mature, he's gone. If they're squabbling amongst each other and fighting, they may not get enough votes because they only have the 5. And people who are truly interested in power will rule with that. But again, my gut tells me that he's gone. That he's alienated too many people. He's made too many enemies. And they're not going to tolerate his presence in their Congress anymore. Okay. But that requires a spine. That requires morals and ethics. And that's not exactly something we've been seeing from the GOP members in the House. All right, so Santos, we may not have him to kick around much longer. Knock on wood. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting my channel. I do appreciate it. Thank you for all your likes and your shares and your comments and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm beast so that my video makes it out to a wider array of viewers. And to any new viewers, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.